everyone. Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly. I'm your host, your guide, your intrepid explorer as we navigate our way through the amazing creative talent that we have here in Northland, New Zealand. We're filming this and we're sort of leading into the Christmas period. I believe there's only like 5 weeks until Christmas now, maybe 6. It's not that far away. I'm pretty sure it's in between 5 and 6. But it is definitely a lot closer as we get to the joyous time of the year. The time of the year where some of us get a bit of a holiday. Can't relate. Editor Lee J, not so much. And that's okay. Thank you very much for joining us. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is your, X amount of times that you visited, thank you for coming back and choosing us as your podcast. Really hope that you guys appreciate this one. I'm going to flick to my camera. Today's guest, another up-and-coming local talent. Interesting story. You know, as I say, all of these podcasts, I have no idea where they're going to go. No idea. And I kind of figure it out as things go, and we just kind of have fun and make it up on the spot. This podcast was a little bit different because some of the early life questions I would normally ask, I didn't get to this time around because of their experiences growing up. So I'm going to shut up. You guys will have a lot of fun with this one. Let's sit down and have a conversation with Kayla Ganley. Quite informed. Hey, now that we're actually, it's different when we're talking inside. Now that you're actually in here and there's the lights and the cameras, and you go, shit, I've got a broadcast quality microphone in front of me. I'm worried about my voice and how I sound. How are you actually feeling?
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty chill, surpringly.
Good.
I was really nervous, when Leanne first messaged me, but
really,
now I'm fine.
Good. Okay. Well, on that high note, Kayla Ganley. See, I almost did it. I knew. Kayla Ganley. I told you. I did tell you. There's a high chance it's going to make a cock up. Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. It's lovely to have you in the studio. We really appreciate it as well. Obviously, as we just sort of said before, Editor Lee J, she has a title. She is Editor Lee J. And what a hell of an editor she is too. She just put some little teaser edits together for one of the music videos we did on Sunday just gone. They look amazing.
Exciting.
I know. We'll show you afterwards so you can have a look. Thank you for joining us. This is very cool. Are you another one of the classmates?
I am.
Yeah, no surprise.
Class of 2022.
All right. It's good to see Lee J's emotional blackmail works well. Thank you for actually choosing to come in and sit down. I know this time of year because we're sort of leading into the Christmas period, right? And I'm guessing this is the time of year as a photographer when you would hope to be your busiest.
Mhm. I've got a couple of gigs coming up over the next few weeks.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now, we did sort of touch a little bit on this earlier, but I guess I'd like to sort of do a little bit of a deeper dive. I always want to find out, I think everyone's story into their creative expression is a little bit different. We've had some guests that, they grabbed a crayon early on and they just knew they were going to be artists, or the very opposite end. We've got people that had no creative talent until they hit about 40 and then became legends at what they do. So, the house of creativity, is that what it was like for you? Because some people, it's very much like mum and dad were accountants.
My dad actually is an accountant.
Your dad is actually an accountant. Of course he was. Of course he still is or was?
He is,
Still is an accountant.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to dad in accountancy. Okay, so creativity in your house, kind of, what was it like?
Well, my mum is an artist, so...
Wicked, what sort?
Kind of a bit of everything. She actually trained at Wellington and did graphic design for
Cool.
A career until she had us.
Mum, I need you as a guest.
Yep, definitely. But now she does painting and she's
wow.
really into printmaking at the moment.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, from a very early age, dad creative at all, or just with numbers?
More with numbers,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Yeah. So sort of very early on you were exposed to that, or had mum kind of pulled away to be, well, I guess to be a parent?
Yeah, so I've got two younger brothers, so when she had me, I was
You're
actually...
the oldest?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was homeschooled all the way through. I didn't go to school, and then for my NCA I did Dakota, so correspondence.
Okay.
But all the way through, like, earliest memories, like, were just chilling at home, and whenever we had to do schoolwork, I was always more interested in what the page, like, my layout of my pages and the pretty pictures that I got to draw.
Like borders and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
those days.
I didn't really care about what I was actually
Yeah,
writing.
not the
but
content.
Yeah.
It's the overall look of it, right? The
Yeah.
aesthetics.
Yeah. So, like, that's probably one of my earliest memories of, like,
Okay.
the homeschooling thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, mum, yeah, she's like my hero as well, so
Oh,
we're very close. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What do you know why the decision to homeschool you was? Like
not,
they didn't agree with schools, or
I think so, yeah. Just didn't want to put their children through that, I guess. I don't know.
you turned out okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it's homeschooling. It's subjective. But I mean, you know, you obviously did well with the NCEA and you did all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, man. So normally I sort of ask how high school was, and we talk about that, and you know, some people it's like, you know, when did you connect with other people and bits and pieces, but I can't really talk about any of that. How was it? No, I can't even say what was it like growing up with your brothers, because you guys were all homeschooled together, right?
Yeah.
Hang on, now I make that assumption. Were they homeschooled or did they go to school?
So I've got two younger brother ones. Hayden, who's like 3 years younger than me, he went to school in year 9.
Okay, yep.
So
yep.
he's in his 3rd year of uni now down in Auckland. And then my youngest brother has just turned 18 and just finished his last year of high school. But it was
Right.
also his first year of high school. So he started in year 13 and then
Wow.
he's going to uni next year.
And now did you have any high school?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Wow. Okay. Do you feel like you missed out, or?
I don't think so. Like, I
mean, I
had
guess-
my dance classes. I
Yeah.
was dancing 4, sometimes 5 days a week at my school. And then I started, like, teaching with the school as
Wow.
well. I started theatre when I was in my late teens, and so I met a good group of people there. Yeah, and they're still, like, all my best mates. So
Okay.
I don't think I've missed out on anything.
Maybe the bullying and mental
Yeah.
health shit.
Yeah, probably a bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff then. Yay for homeschooling. One of my dearest mates, Tash Mitchell, her and I used to teach theatre sports to kids in high school. So originally I'm from Gisborne, so that's where her and we kind of met doing a show together and just got on really well. She liked the fact that I was pretty straight up and mildly a dick. I like the fact that she was just straight up, not a dick at all. But so we ended up teaching theatre sports to kids, which was really cool. And she homeschools her kids, and for her
right.
it's just a choice.
Yeah.
She's like, don't really agree with the system. Okay, fine, all good. My son goes to Kamo Intermediate. He's off to Kamo High next year, so there. We all have different choices we stand by.
Yeah.
So what made you sort of find the arts?
Well, obviously, like, you can study art through NCA. Like, I did mine through correspondence, so, like, did all my... Hang on, how do I say this?
You open your mouth and the words come out.
I did, like, all my assignments and stuff, but I
Yep.
would only be, like, emailing my teachers to be in contact with them, like, because there was no art teacher through the correspondence school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had to email her. I was sending her photos of my work.
Yeah.
Luckily I had mum, because like that first year of, like, just getting around, like, having assignments due and having to get credits to pass and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, she was really helpful with all of that. And, like, as the years went on, like, by the 3rd year I was always independent, but by my 3rd year I was quite independent and could just do...
You were in the swing of things, right?
Yeah, I got my head around how it all worked.
Yeah.
So.
Did you... yeah, it's so, for me, it's so interesting because art is such a very expressive form, and you kind of need people, like for when you were doing dance, were you doing that through correspondence, or was that you were doing it
No.
here in Whangarei?
Yeah, so I went to a local dance school.
Right, okay, because
Yeah.
I could, in my head, I was going, how do you do dance? Do you like, and action,
No.
and cut, we'll do that again. You missed up the grand jeté between, and then we'll go again.
Great pronunciation there, by the way.
Thank you.
But no.
Thank you very much.
I did level 2. So level 2 and level 3 dance I could do by correspondence. But again, you do just like film yourself and send it to
Really?
your teachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And what about the acting side of it? Because you said you also did theatre. Or was that
That
specifically
was-
based?
Yeah, I
And-
just went
yeah.
to like in NYT, like Northland Youth Theatre classes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What were the sort of other subjects that you studied? Because I don't imagine you could fill your time up with art, dance.
No,
Or did you do the boring maths and English, and did you do classics or history or any of that sort of stuff?
I did. I really loved English. I actually did quite well in English all the way through my the 3 levels. I also did maths for levels 1 and 2, surprisingly. I don't know why I did it for level 2, but I was like, sure, why not?
Not so,
Yeah, maybe it's dad's influence as an accountant, but
possibly.
I kind of like got to like a certain point. I was like, yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
What else did I do? I did English, maths, visual arts.
Because obviously we're going back a few years now, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's
And
been
you
a
kind of go,
while.
I'm just going to put that part behind me. I survived
Yeah.
high school, so in some ways, not too dissimilar from a
Yeah.
lot of actual high school students. Okay,
Yep.
so you did some subjects that you kind of had to do that you didn't give a shit about. You did some subjects that you were like, well, I'm kind of okay at this, and you did some you're like, I really enjoy this.
Yep,
That's right.
basically.
Sounds like high school. Okay, so, man, this is possibly going to be the quickest podcast ever. Well, we don't, schooling and stuff like that. Okay, how... I'm really getting like... So, at school, you have the ability to form, like, these friendships with people, and you kind of, you get to see your mates every day, you get to hang out with them, have sleepovers, do dumb shit, and all that sort of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you never... You didn't have so much of that, did you? Because you had the stuff outside with your dance and your theatre, but you didn't have that...
Well, there's actually a homeschool group. Like when I was growing up, there was a homeschool group in Whangarei.
Okay,
And
cool.
so there were
All right.
lots of families, and we'd
Right.
all get together like a couple of times throughout the week in the day.
Okay, yeah.
And then we went to our after school curricular things after school.
So do you still keep in touch with those?
Yeah.
Some of them?
Yeah.
Are they
I'm seeing like one of my best friends, Hannah. We grew up homeschooled together. I'm seeing her this weekend. We're going to meet in Christchurch for a concert. So, yeah.
All right. I thought you would have said just meet up for a coffee, but
No,
Christchurch.
no.
Why not?
She lives in Queenstown. I live here, so we're going to meet.
Not. What are you going to go see?
Hosier?
Oh, right. Take me to church.
Yep.
I'll be honest, it's the only song that most people know.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a great track. Don't get me wrong. I see when it comes on Spotify, I'm like, take me to church. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, shit, there's another email. Okay. All right. So, that's cool. And you're still close with a lot of your dance and drama friends as well?
Yep, we've got like a friend group, and like one of my best friends, Abby. Shout out to Abby. Yeah, like she's my best friend ever.
Nice.
She's like a sister. And yeah, we've got our bigger, wider friend group as well with Ellen, Cody, Jared, Tamara. I feel like I'm missing someone.
I don't know. I was just letting you go with it. If you feel like you're missing someone, I'll say
Hang on.
yes.
Jared,
She's
Cody,
gonna list them
Tamara,
off.
Ellen, Abby. Nope, that is everyone.
It's everyone.
Yeah.
We've got them all covered. It's because Paris thought there'll be one mate you were like, bitch, didn't shout me out.
I know, I would
Fuck
have
it.
felt really guilty.
The guilty conscience kicked in very quickly. So what sort of stuff were you doing for like theatre and dance? Because you said that you started off as a dancer and kind of transitioned into actually like teaching.
Yeah.
I'll start with dance first. Is there like a style that you sort of gravitated towards? Were you like hip hop, urban, tap, jazz,
Not
ballet.
quite. I'm more ballet and contemporary.
Right, okay.
A bit softer.
Right, okay. That's why you appreciated me saying grand jeté.
Exactly.
Yeah. My dance teacher was a former Royal New Zealand ballet teacher.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I was so lucky. She's
Yeah.
great. Briar Horrocks. Shout out to Briar. So what drew you to ballet? Because that is, look, Black Swan, ultra competitive. Controversial, yeah.
Yeah.
But it touches on the real discipline behind the art. Because I think out of all the dancing, it is the most discipline required. Like you got to be able to point your toes correctly and have the right extensions, first, second, third, fourth positions. Got to make sure you can nail those. See, I remember all this. She's like sitting there going,
job.
"Wow, this guy knows his shit." Thank you. Why did you pick such a disciplined dancing style? Because I mean, there are a lot of others that are a lot more free flowing, I guess.
So I started ballet classes when I was 4.
Alrighty then.
According to Mum, I was dancing around the living room since I could walk, so it
Wow.
just kind of happened naturally,
Okay.
I guess. I think my grandma paid for my first term of dance lessons at that age, and
Go grandma.
I just haven't stopped since.
Yeah. So do you still focus mainly on ballet?
At the moment, actually, I'm teaching more contemporary at Just Dance. Yeah. I think we have like a variety of teachers, and we have another ballet teacher, and so like we
Right,
kind of
okay.
yeah,
You
we
sort
just
of-
share the load.
You filled a
little
hole, right?
bit. Yeah.
Okay. What ballet? Extremely disciplined. Contemporary. Not so much.
No, not really. No.
No middle ground between the two.
It's if you took away the strictness of ballet, like that's what I imagine contemporary to be. Like it's got more flow, more momentum. It focuses more on gravity and
Yeah.
all of the kind of stuff that, like the basic thing in contemporary is like you're best friends with the floor. It's all about the down. Whereas in ballet, you don't want to be attached to the floor. You want to fly and you
Right.
want to like glide more.
I can certainly say as I started learning how to dance, I was definitely attached to the floor. It was one of the things about being uncoordinated. Okay, so then we'll go to the theatre side of things. When did that sort of come into your life?
So I started with the theatre. I did the classes at NYT, and then I kind of had a little bit of a break. And then when I was about 18, like I was still competing competitively with my dance.
Right, so
But-
you were that serious?
Not like extreme. I didn't travel and go
Okay.
compete. It was just
Right.
like the local ones. And then when I was about 19, like 18, I stopped competing and stuff and kind of like just focused more on teaching.
Mhm.
But I still wanted to keep performing. I missed that part of it.
Yeah.
So that's when I joined Whangarei Theatre Company, and my first show was The Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Yeah. As
Jesus.
part of the Corps de Ballet.
My goodness. Why not just start with an easy one of all things?
Just jump straight
yeah,
in.
It's like, yeah. What part did you have?
It was just part of the Corps de Ballet, so it was me
Okay.
and a couple of other little ballerinas, and yeah, we had a great time. And then that same year, I did Rent
Oh, yes.
as well. Yeah, which
Yep.
is still one of my favourite musicals. I was the tango dancer. I had my
Ooh.
first kiss on stage because I had to kiss Maureen.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, I've done several. I did West Side Story, which I actually also choreographed.
Wow.
Yeah, so like with the teaching side of things, it makes it quite easy to come up with choreography and stuff.
Yeah.
So putting on a show it was really cool
Nice.
being on that side of things as well as performing in it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting sort of stepping away from being talent to being production, and being able to see the different sides of the equation, because you go, now I know why they were a dick to me.
Yep.
It's because as a performer, often you can be undisciplined and unfocused. And then when you're the one being that person, you go, why are you so undisciplined and unfocused? Get your shit together. And are you still involved in theatre, or is it? What's the last thing you did?
I was in Sister Act just as a performer, like ensemble, last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had a break this year with my traveling and stuff. And then next year, I'm actually choreographing. They're doing "We Will Rock You," which
Oh
is
my
the Queen
goodness!
musical.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that's gonna be at Forum North in June, I think.
That will be a powerhouse of a show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That will be wow.
We have auditions next month, early next month.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's exciting.
All right, if anyone wants to audition and this podcast comes out on time, please audition. It's the Whangarei Theatre Company, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be on the Facebook page and on their website.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there we go. Great at promoting. Okay, cool. All right, so you work, job, the boring shit.
Technically 4 jobs at the moment, but yeah.
Okay, all right. How old are you, if it's okay to ask?
24.
24.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got 4 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll be honest, you're sounding a lot like me. At your age, well, no, at 24 was my first year of drama. 23, I was running a music store, working in a video shop, a Spacey's parlour, and teaching guitar whilst doing a short film, music, teaching theatre sports, and acting in plays. Any of this sound familiar to you?
Yep.
Does it sound like a familiar
My daily
workload?
life.
I know, it's crazy, but you are where I was. We'll just say a few years ago. Quiet editor Lee J. We don't need any commentary from you. Thank you. Yeah, that's crazy. So do you have any sort of aspirations to do any of this further or study with it or travel or what?
I think next year I really need to sit down and focus on building my career.
Mm-hmm.
I want eventually the goal is to have like my own business.
Okay.
And do graphics, photography, web design, that kind of thing. In the meantime, in order to get there, I think I need some years, maybe a couple of years experience at a design firm or, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that whole thing out in this economy.
Yeah, it's so challenging at the moment. You know, the artistic side has been gutted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of businesses are sort of moving to anyone in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've got half a brain and know how to film on a phone, apparently that's amazing. And it's like, no, that is unprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay, so challenging times ahead for you then. Because there's one other thing that you do that we haven't talked about.
Is there?
There is. The other part we haven't talked about is that you are also a freelance photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's actually kind of the reason you're with us today, is because you did photography.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of the dancing, on top of the theatre, and I remember you saying you did photography when you were young.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at? What was the journey through photography? And then where are you now versus where you'd like to be? It's a deep question.
Very good question.
Thank you. We strive.
So in my level 3 studies of NCA, I did photography as my level 3 portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
I achieved excellence and I also got a scholarship with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing. Like I worked with my mum and we did like a kind of like Greek mythology inspired board.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. And then...
God damn, man. You sound so... I did Greek mythology in classics as well.
Yeah,
Which
it must be like a theatre kid thing.
It really sounds familiar. I'm like going, well, you did photography. I did an early version of an audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Yep, and so then I started at North Tech. I signed up to do the Bachelor of Applied Arts.
Yeah.
And obviously I did like all the photography classes throughout that with like Ellie and Lisa. Yeah, and then for my final year, I really did kind of focus on photography for my final project.
Mm-hmm.
at the time my dance school was doing Alice in Wonderland for our end of year show.
Nice.
And so I incorporated that whole theme into what my photography final works were.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up doing a series of self-portraits inspired by the characters of Alice in Wonderland, but with a twist on how I was feeling at that time, like confused about what I was going to do the year after. Okay. And also I was really run down and really... I got COVID like 3 weeks before our final exhibition opened.
Long or short?
It was... I think it was probably long. Like, I got really quite sick.
Yeah, brain fog and...
Yeah, so trying to do your final works with that kind of mindset was not the greatest. But yeah, I think I still pulled through and managed to get I think it was a series of 5 self-portraits done.
Yeah.
And obviously I had COVID, so I was stuck at home for like a week and a bit.
Yeah.
And I ended up shooting them in my garage.
Okay.
Yep.
Aesthetic style choices?
Yeah, so it was I was really inspired by pre-Raphaelite imagery at the time.
Okay.
And so I set up like a backdrop in my garage on the washing line, and then in front of that I had like a table, and then I dressed myself up as the White Rabbit and the Red Queen.
Yeah.
And Alice and the Duchess and the Cheshire Cat.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was kind of like to look at them, they're all very sad characters and not really probably what you would associate with the happy children's book.
Yeah, no, they're miserable.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool, and I haven't really done much creative, like actual like creative process work like that since then. I've kind of been focusing on like, I guess it's kind of commercial stuff at the moment. But yeah, I do weddings, what else have I done?
Do you do product shoots and stuff like that?
Not really. I don't really have a fancy to do still life stuff.
Okay.
A little bit boring, to be completely honest.
Okay, so then my lead-in question to that will be, what stuff do you like to do then? Dramatic pause.
Definitely people. Like, I love photographing performances and shows.
Yeah.
I did, my biggest thing that I've just finished up actually, was the Whangarei Fringe Festival. So I photographed like 25 plus shows for that, and like including inside the theatre and also out in like the public spaces. Yeah, I also helped them. Like, I was part of like the 116 working towards it, so doing a lot of their marketing stuff, like their social media and the billboards, and making posters and templates for the artists to put their posters in.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was a really fun 3 months, and I'm really grateful for the team at 116.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's where you are now. Where are we going?
I'm going to start building my own brand, like as a, I don't want to like, what's the word? Like, confine myself to just being a photographer or just a designer. I want it like a whole creative kind of thing. So I'm trying to, like, once this whole crazy month is over, I'm going to put my portfolio together, see if I can get a design job around town, but if not, my plan B is to go completely freelance and just see how I go with that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Challenging?
I think so, yeah. I probably have to promote myself very well to get much coming through.
Do you think this is the right economic climate for it? We ask the deep, hard-hitting questions here. We're going to get into investigative journalism soon.
Probably not, but you just got to go for it, right?
You do. Okay, so you are what I would consider to be a multi-threat person. You have a lot of different tools in the tool belt where you can kind of just whip them out at a moment's notice and be like, yeah, you need this, I can do this, right? what are the tools in the tool belt that you'd like to have that you don't currently have?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I definitely like to get more into some video stuff. Like, with the whole social media going the way it is, like, I think that's definitely where a lot of work could potentially be with content creation and stuff. I don't know, I still want to keep doing more design stuff. Like, there's always something different you can do depending on what people need, and yeah, I love like the whole creative process behind making a poster and thinking of like a whole concept, and yeah,
I mean, I just enjoy the creative process in general, and it doesn't matter what it is. Seeing something from initial concept and inception through all the pre-production stuff that you've got to do through to doing the work through to the deliverable is stressful, but fun. Okay, so what are the next plans for the next couple of years for you then? If you were to say, here's my 2-year goal, here's my 2-year strategy, this is where I want to be. I want to be doing this.
Hopefully be fully freelance and managing to, like, I guess, provide for myself and, like, maybe move overseas. My friend and I our goal is to move overseas for a bit in 2027. We'll just see how that goes.
Yeah, nice.
See how the world is. But yeah, I guess just saving up for that and figuring out myself. Like, I'm 24, like, I don't know if I should have my shit together or not, so it's kind of like finding that weird balance.
Yes and no. Man, if I reflect back when I was your age, I made the huge choice to go to drama school to find out I was the oldest in my class at 24. And I was like, wow, you all have come out of high school. Great. Well, I got some life experience on everyone, so it was good. But yeah, it's always an interesting point. I had a lot of my shit together for years, and then I threw it all away and kind of started from scratch. And I've done that a couple of times. I mean, I was a touring musician for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
No.
That's okay. I was a lead singer, manager, promoter, and all that sort of good stuff.
Oh, cool.
Whilst holding down a full-time job as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of threw a lot of that away, and then moved up here, and I hadn't really done anything creatively. And then a couple of years ago, started this, and then it just kind of expanded into the media company that kind of does stuff now. You know, and it's through your life, you'll either just stay or you'll reinvent. And you know, I think, as I said before, you and I are quite similar in a lot of ways, because when I was your age, I was kind of thinking about that as well, and also trying to figure out how far down the creative path do I want to go. Not a lot of money for actors in New Zealand.
Unfortunately not.
More money in photography. If only I knew sooner. But yeah, I mean, that's really cool that you've kind of got some semblance of an idea. Do you have to have your shit together? No, I'm 49 and I still don't. But I have fun along the way.
The main thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, if you were to pick one cool memory from everything that you've done creatively, what would that one cool memory be, and why?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I have no idea where these podcasts go. We just make them up on the spot.
No, it's all good. The most recent one that comes to mind is, as part of the Fringe Festival, I got to design the t-shirts.
They were you?
Yeah. Did you see them
I
around
saw
town?
the t-shirts around town. They
that
were
was me.
amazing. They were so cool, man. They were awesome.
Yeah.
That's wicked. Okay. Kayla, thank you so much for... We're going to end it. It's like there's a natural cut-off point, and I've just gone, fuck it.
Yeah.
Kayla, Thank you so much for coming in and joining us today. Yeah, this has been really cool. It's always interesting. We have such a wide age demographic, and it's cool talking to the people that have been doing it for a number of years, and then it's cool talking to the people that have done it for a little while and they're still, they're kind of like, well, or they're like, yeah. But the young artists coming up is always interesting because it's like, man, you've got so many years ahead of you just to think about things. And I guess the one piece of advice I'd give you is don't be inflexible.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the reason I say that is because before I started drama school, I wrote and shot a short film. And then 26 years later, I'm actually in the process of doing my second short film, but it took 26 years to do it. So just always, if an opportunity pops up, evaluate, risk assess it, and then take it. So thank you very much for coming in, man, sharing us.
Yeah,
Jenny, we'd love to have you back on as well. It'd be cool to see where you are in a year's time.
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you are, everyone. Kayla Ganley. Yeah, real up-and-comer. Interesting that she's spent so much time creatively, from a young age as well. As I said during the podcast, there's a lot of similarities between herself at the age she is at the moment and myself when I was her age. A lot of similarities there. It was actually really interesting just to sort of find out where she is, because at her age I was kind of at a similar point. I was like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And so it was very cool. Good to chat with her. I always take away one thing from each podcast, and I'm going to invite Editor Lee J to contribute to this one.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Such a gracious hand as well that went off to the side. What would you say? It's not spirit fingers. What would you say is the one thing that you got out of the podcast with Kayla?
Ooh.
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
because obviously you know her, right?
Yeah. So I knew quite a handful, especially of her being in being homeschooled and that.
Yep.
Oh, I feel like
knocking on heaven's door.
Well, the thing is, I know so much already, but I feel like I just like hearing her talk about it, because she's got such a nice way of talking about her experiences.
Very articulate.
Yeah.
Very articulate.
It's just even if I've heard it 1,000 times, I just like hearing her, the way she just goes through her story, and it's Yeah, she's just ever since I've known her, she's just always been doing something, and I find that very inspiring. She's a very inspiring person, and the fact that we're the same age, it just kind of makes me feel like, okay, so I can do that too. It kind of just makes me feel because we can. Not that I'm comparing myself, but it's just nice to know that someone that is the same age in the same area can achieve things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really great.
Definitely. The big one for me was the homeschooling stuff. I think she might be our first guest. No, our second guest that's been homeschooled. We had another guest that was homeschooled earlier on. I want to say late last year that had been homeschooled. And so yeah, she's our second guest, but her experience was just, oh man, if I remember rightly, it might have been David Power.
Okay.
Maybe. Everyone, check out that podcast, David Power. Correct me if I'm right. Let me know if I'm wrong. In the comments would be great. Yeah, just her experience. It wasn't. There was no specific reason for it. Her mum and dad just went, we're going to homeschool her. It was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe they were just going to trial it. They were like, what happens if we homeschool our first child? She's the firstborn, so, first trial period. It's like, let's see what happens if we have a kid.
And if we fuck it up, we'll do better on the second. It's often the oldest's responsibility.
Yeah.
Right, we made these mistakes here.
Right, so yeah.
We won't be doing this again.
Just crossing off the list.
As the oldest child.
Don't do that one. Yep.
The homeschooling stuff for me was really interesting, because normally, with all of our guests, we sort of talk a little bit about, school for them and how that was and the interactions with other kids. And, sometimes mental health stuff comes up and sometimes bullying stuff comes up or, all of those sorts of different experiences. But she had none of it for her. So, yeah, I think tonight it sort of forced me to step outside of what I would normally look at for a podcast instead of going, all right, cool. We'll start here, we'll go through school, and then we'll go on to work. And that sort of seems to be the touch points that kind of drive conversation. But this one, it was like, growing, having an interest in the arts earlier on, homeschooled, shit, okay. And it's nice. It just really sort of kept me on my toes. It was nice and fresh. But, I'm going to switch from... I think I've been bouncing in between these cameras. Good luck editing. Right. So, where can you, our wonderful listeners and viewers, check out the podcast? First off, thank you for joining us for this one especially. You can find us on our visuals for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all Northland Artists Conversation somewhere around here. For audio, you'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Podcasts. Again, all Northland Artists Conversation. And if you are an artist and you would love to be on here, if you've been on here before and you've got some cool stuff, or if you know anyone that's an artist that would be great, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Our email address is hello@northlandartistsconversation.co.nz. We keep it simple. That way, you can just Google us and something will come up. And then you'll be able to get in touch with us. And that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Going to go back to my wide. Editor Lee, I have a question for you. What is the next 6 weeks looking like for you?
Feel like I'm feeling the fiery pits of hell.
Right, so Christmas and New Year's are coming up. For retail, definitely are the busiest times of the year.
Yes.
So good luck. I hope that those go well.
Thanks.
This is the time of year where sales go up and stress goes up equally as well. So, guys, as we lead into Christmas, I will say this: as someone who has managed retail stores for over 20 years, be kind to everyone around this time of year. There's a lot of pressure. People. Some people have those expectations of, I need to spend this amount of money to do this because, either my kid wants something awesome or I need to do something amazing for my partner. Just, especially these economic times, spend within your means, okay? Don't go over the top. Just look after yourselves, look after your family, be safe, be well. And on that wonderful high note, my name is Mark Kelly. On behalf of the entire Northland Artists Conversation team and my wonderful editor, Lee J, behind the scenes tonight, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys real soon.